celebrates his birthday. And plus, a special moment for their 4 new inductees. Dane Gagai and Doubt for their clash against the Warriors. And the club names their New South Wales Cup team to take on the Warriors this weekend. And we say hello to one of the night's junior reporters, Nate. The first good news came above for the Knights. Kurt Mann, as he officially celebrated his happy birthday today. Because of that, Mann will officially play his first game for this year. And because of that, round 1 officially, and because of that, the Knights 2023 season starts on Friday. Meantime, it was a special moment for the club. 4 new inductees were honoured to their honour roll overnight. Tanish Justin and Dane Gagai has failed to overcome a minor hamstring strain ahead of this weekend's opening round clash in Wellington in New Zealand. The centre is progressing well in his rehabilitation program ahead of round 2. Meanwhile, Simi Sasagi is going through graded contact and team skill progressions after undergoing surgery on a dislocated shoulder suffered in the preseason. Still, the Knights and the club's New South Wales knock-on effect. New South Wales Cup side is off to New Zealand this Saturday, where they take on the Warriors. Of course, they've added a strong lineup, and also they've got their new coach, Michael Monaghan. It's a wonderful effort for the Knights New South Wales Cup, and of course they've got a lineup as part of their clash against the Warriors. And also they've got Bailey Hodgson, Colonel Wayne Kemp, Kaya Cooper, Dylan Lewis, David Armstrong, Ryan Rivett, Adam Clune, David Hollis, Cobe Ruggless, Tony Topino, Brody Jones, Tom Cant, and Ben Tolty, as well as on the interchange is Liam Wilkinson, Callum Burgess, Brock Granson, and Sebastian Sewer. While on the extended bench is Reid Alkin and Chris, as well as Chris Valia. The match starts at midday on Saturday. Of course, the New South Wales Cup, and of course the SG Ball Cup side will play against the Warriors up at St John's Oval in Newcastle. It's part of an impress to quickly go through into the finals. Meanwhile, Jordan Blundell and Jai Lennon have both been in, and so while Travis May is out for the clash due to injury. Meanwhile, Fletcher Sharp, Kyle Colburn, Ethan Ferguson, and Jerome Falmore have been added. So too is Kyle McCarthy, Jai Lennon, Taj Blackman. Also on the forwards is Rory Whitby, Malachi Smith, Caleb Garvin, Elijah Salazar Lamona, as well as Jermaine McEwen and Miles Martin, who is the captain. Meanwhile, in the interchange is Cooper Bigini, as well as Jaden Harris, while Tamakamona is and Brock Thomas are on the interchange, while on the reserves are Bailey Carmichael and Jordan Blunder. Out of their clash against the Warriors this Friday, they've got Lachlan Miller, Heimel Hunt, and Ari Tola, Bradman Best, Dominic Young, as well as Callum Ponga and Jackson Hastings. Meanwhile, Daniel Saifidi is back, so too is Jaden Brayley, and also Daniel is joined by his brother Jacob Saifidi, and so too is Tyson Frizzell, Lachlan Fitzgibbon, and Kurt Mann. Meantime, Dane Gagai is out because of a injury that he suffered during training. Meanwhile, Phoenix Crossland is back, so too is Adam Elliott, Jack Hetherington, and Leo Thompson, while Jack Johns is also on. And so too is Tyson Gamble, Brodie Jones, Dylan Lucas, and Bailey Hodgson. While Chris Sutton is the referee for the match, Adam O'Brien is the coach. And of course the match will be on both KO Sports and Foxtel as well. And don't forget, you can watch it. Don't forget you can watch the and don't forget the good news is the Newcastle Maitland Region Knights are in the men's country championships, where they are up against the Central Coast Roosters this Saturday. Also, they'll be joined by the Northern Rivers Titans, the Greater Northern Tigers, and the North Coast Bulldogs. And of course, the Knights are up against the Warriors up in New Zealand in round 1 of the New South Wales Cup. What's do or die for the Eels as they take on the Canberra Raiders this Saturday. And of course, Newcastle is off to their home at St John's Oval on Sunday in the SG Ball Cup, where they take on the Warriors, while the Raiders are off to their home in Canberra, where they take on the Eels. Of course, the Central Coast Roosters remain as the only regional side to play against the North Sydney Bears this weekend. And of course, it's up in the Harold Matthews Cup in round 5 with teams such as St George, the Steelers, and the Newcastle Knights having the bye. While it's a huge battle in round 5 of the Andrew Johns Cup, I've chosen the Greater Northern Tigers to beat the Western Rams this Saturday. Also, it's a battle of the hotheads, the Central Coast Roosters and the Newcastle Maitland Region Knights. I've gone for Newcastle to beat the Central Coast this Saturday. Also, it's a local derby between the Northern Rivers Titans and the North Coast Bulldogs in Ballina. Also, I've gone for the Northern Rivers to secure a win. Also, it's Monaro up against Riverina, so I've gone for the Riverina Bulls to secure a win. While it all ends on Sunday with the Macarthur Illawarra South Coast Dragons clash, and because of that, I've gone for Macarthur to secure a win. Also, it's all becoming to much difference in the Lowy Daily Cup. I've gone for the Greater Northern Tigers to beat the Rams. I've also done a lot of good things, and of course, I've gone for the North Coast Bulldogs to secure their first win to beat the Northern Rivers Titans in Ballina. And of course, I've gone for the Newcastle Maitland Region Knights to beat the Central Coast Roosters. And of course, I've gone for the Riverina Bulls to beat the Monaro Colts. I've gone for the Macarthur West Tigers to beat the Illawarra South Coast Dragons this Sunday. And of course, don't forget, as you've heard earlier, there's of course round 1 of the New South Wales. There's of course round 1 of the men's country championships. And of course, the Greater Northern Tigers are up against the Western Rams. I've gone for Greater Northern to secure a win. Also, it's a battle of of the far north coast towns, and of course it's the Northern Rivers up against the North Coast. I've chosen for the Titans to beat the North Coast Bulldogs. Also, it's a battle of the F3 Derby with the Central Coast up against the Newcastle Rebels. And of course, I've gone for the Newcastle Knights to beat the Central Coast Roosters. But of course, it doesn't end there. I've gone for Macarthur to beat the South Coast Dragons. And of course, thankfully, I've gone for Riverina to beat Monaro. And of course, don't forget round 2 kicks off next weekend. Coming up after the break, we'll have all the highlights of your local sport, and plus we'll have a look at the local action.
For 36 months interest-free terms. 36 months interest-free on computers, printers, scanners, fax machines and much more. 36 months interest-free terms now at Harvey Norman. Minimum purchase $500, one-third deposit. Conditions apply. See store for details.
Harvey Norman, go!
Call NBN, your local Timber Zone air conditioning experts. For sales, installation and service on all Timber Zone split system and ducted air conditioning. Call 1-800-444-911 for service.
The big red ball, from the bush to the bay. Yes, it's Lotto. Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. It's the big one you want. It's the game for you. Cause it's the big red ball that makes dreams come true. Dreams come true. Dreams come true. The big red ball. The big red ball. It's the big red ball that makes dreams come true.
Sailing away on the crest of a wave, it's like magic. Holding and riding, slipping and sliding, it's magic. You and your sweet desire, you took me.
This giant boulder men's mountain bike just $449, and this giant enchant ladies mountain bike just $449. Giant deals at Hadley's. We can do them all, we gotta get because the Herald is the best way to start your day.
We at Dowlings would like to thank our many valued clients for helping us to expand to our 14th office here at Newland. Nobody can offer better real estate service than Dowlings, supporting local business, charities and sporting bodies.
The Dowling goal is great real estate service.
Dial Dowling.
There's no bias at Dowling. Dial Dowling.
At Dowling, you're always on a winner.
Dial Dowling.
Dial Dowling.
Buying or selling.
Dial Dowling.
It's a massive one, indeed. And of course, it's the Northern New South Wales NPL men's and women's. And of course, round one kicks off this Friday and finishes on Sunday. And of course, it kicks off right up at Adamstown, where Lambton are hosting Maitland, while Broadmeadow is up against the Western Workers. Also, Nearlampton are up against Charlestown Azuri, while Cooks Hill are up against Lake Macquarie. Also, Newcastle Olympic are up against Edgeworth, while Abbottstown are up against Valentine. While on Sunday, it's round one of the Hunters women's competition. And of course, Broadmeadow Magic are up against Nearlampton, while Charlestown Azuri are up at home against Maitland. Warners Bay are up against Newcastle Olympic, while the Mid Coast are up at home at Tarwee against Adamstown. And of course, it's round two of the Northern League One, which is sponsored by Hit 106.9, and of course, West End are up against Cohiba on Saturday. So too is the Thornton Redbacks, who are up against the Singleton Strikers. Meanwhile, South Cardiff have the bye. And also, it concludes on Sunday with Wallsend up against Belmont Swansea, while Cessnock City are up against Toronto Awaba. And of course, next week will be huge for the Junior Development League. Lambton is up against Maitland, and of course, it'll be the same thing as well with Lambton's Blacks up against Maitland, while Edgeworth's Red are up against Newcastle's Blue, and of course Edgeworth's Black are up against Newcastle Olympics White. And of course, Broadmeadow Magic's FC Yellow are up against the Western Workers White, while Broadmeadow Magic are up against Western Workers Black, while Charlestown Azuri have two matches played. They both take on the Central Coast, Black and Red. Meanwhile, South Cardiff has only one game. They're up against Abbottstown Rosebud, while Lake Macquarie is up against their rivals, which of course is the Northern Inland Academy of Sport, while Lake Macquarie's White have the bye. And of course, Belmont Swansea are up against Cohiba, and of course, Belmont are at it again. This time, they take on Toronto Awaba. And of course, Cooks Hill are up against Singleton, Valentine are up against Nearlampton in both the Orange and Navy. And of course, round 5 of of the Hunter Rugby Union Women's Sevens competition continues on Friday up at Tomaree at Nelson Bay, with the University of Newcastle up against the Waratahs, while the Hamilton Hawks are up against Nelson Bay. And of course, it will occur with the Southern Beaches, who will ride up against Merewether Carlton. Of course, round 4 of the Newcastle AFL Nines kicks off on Friday with the Hunter Hornets up against the Breakers, while Port Power is up against the Legends. And of course, this weekend it's the last round of Newcastle District Cricket, which means that round 13 will be the last one before the finals will eventually kick off next weekend. And of course, I've gone for the Hamwicks to beat Toronto. I've gone for Belmont as well to secure a win. I've gone for the University of Newcastle to secure a victory. I've gone for Wallsend. Also, I've gone for Charlestown to beat Stockton and Northern Districts. Also, I've gone for Cardiff Bullaroo to secure a victory over Newcastle City. And of course, don't forget the finals of Division 1 are all coming up this Saturday. And of course, don't forget, here are my tips. Don't forget Warners Bay will officially win this one, which is a qualifying final. And of course, Port Stephens will also win. And don't forget, the West Journeyman will also win. So too will Cardiff Bullaroo. Also, it's happening in Division 2. Glendale will win. Also, Adamstown will secure a victory. Katawa will also win, so too will Maryland. Okay, Division 3, I've gone for the Beach Hotel. Okay, and I've gone for Valentine Elibana to win this one. I've gone for Hillsborough to beat their rivals, and I've gone for Newcastle City to secure a win. Don't forget, I've gone for West Lakes to secure a win this weekend. Also, I've gone for Beresfield to secure a victory over Warners Bay. Also, whoever goes through will go through to the semi-finals, and the one that will not will be out. Of course, I've gone for Adamstown. Well, I've gone for Katawa to beat Maryland. But of course, don't forget, it's the 5th division. I've gone for Stockton and Northern Districts to beat Maryland. I've gone for, it was a hard one between the two Valentine Elibana ones. I've gone for the Golds to beat the Greys. Also, I've gone for the Katawa Hornets to secure a win. Also, I've gone for Taralba to beat their rivals. Now here's division number 6. Of course, Warners Bay will win this one. And of course, I reckon Port Stephens will have a victory. Also, Nelson Bay will have a victory as well. So too will the Hunter Taverners as well. And of course, don't forget, round 20 of the Division 7, which of course is only 2 rounds away before the finals get underway, starts this weekend. And of course, it starts on Saturday. And of course, I've gone for Valentine Elibana to secure a win. I've gone for Warners Bay to beat Club at Charlestown. And I've gone for the Adamstown Hunters to secure a win. And of course, don't forget the finals of the Newcastle Summer Bash got underway last Sunday. And of course, Newcastle City managed to defeat the University of Newcastle with a huge win, while South Newcastle were edged out by the Magpies. while the Rosellas were edged out by the Rebels. Of course, the Tigers had a win over Hamwicks. Don't forget, it's the second week of the finals, which occurs this Sunday. Don't forget, I've chosen the Hamwicks to beat Newcastle City. Also, I've chosen the Rosellas to beat the Magpies. It's round 3, and of course, whoever goes through will win the big one. Finally tonight, of course, we were lucky to meet Nate. He's of course a huge Knights fan, but also he's one of the Knights' first ever junior reporters. Of course, his incredible style of journalism has since made him the most popular of all.
I was always a little bit too scared to play, so my mum made me play soccer because I was too scared to get my hands dirty.
I was 10 years old.
I was pretty young. I was probably only about 4. I think I played under 6s when I was 4 years old. 9, I think. I started off playing soccer with Jacob, and we outgrew everyone. Were too big, so we came and played footy.
What was the name of your first club?
My first club was the Tukli Hawks. West Illawarra. We actually were the same colours as the Knights too.
One of the Knights' junior reporters, Nate.
South Mackay.
The Woy Roosters.
And my first club was called the Winton Devils. So yeah, that's my junior club.
Of course,
Who's the funniest player in the team?
Of course, he managed to interview some of our Knights players up at their team fight up.
There's a few. Jackson Hastings.
Right up at McDonald Jones
That's hard,
Stadium.
actually. There's a few larrikins, but the funniest, Bailey Hodgson.
Funniest player, we laugh. I wouldn't say he's funny, but we laugh at him a fair bit. Bradman Best, he's pretty funny.
I'd go Jackson Hastings. He's the best, but he's funny. The South boys are funny. Everyone's quite funny actually, but I reckon I'm the funniest. What do you reckon?
That's what Kurt means.
He's still the funniest? Oh, I'll take that. Thanks, Gil.
What's your favourite food?
That's hard. I love food, but pork roast.
To be honest, I can't go past just a good steak.
But also,
and
some of the questions can be funnier.
Favorite food would have to be lamb cutlets and potato bag.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind pineapple on pizzas. No.
But
That's just like
pineapple does not belong on
glasses to bed.
pizza.
Like sunglasses. Dark room. You shouldn't do that.
If you were a superhero, what would your superpower?
I'd like to have invisibility powers. Why? Just be cool.
Teleport maybe? Just be able to go to different countries and travel and just be able to feel like that.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'll fly. Just to fly. Get it easier. I don't know if I'd fly or be invisible. I'd love to be able to run faster too because I'm slow as anything, but I reckon fly.
What do you prefer, Xbox, PlayStation or Nintendo Switch?
A PlayStation for me, yeah, PlayStation. I've got all of them, so PlayStation. I'm a PS5 guy. No one can beat me in FIFA, Madden, 2K from any year. I'm undefeated ever.
I'm not massive into it, but lately I've been playing FIFA with the boys, so FIFA.
And of course, thankfully, mine is of course the PlayStation 4. And by the way, nice work, Nate. And of course, don't forget that's NBN's local sports news for this Wednesday, the 1st of March. Don't forget.